Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Daniel writes in and asks if I could create a dubstep wobble using the SP404 Mark II, please. And sure, I've got the default project that comes with your SP404 Mark II set up here. We're just going to hijack this A1. This way, if you want to follow along with anything that I'm going to do here, you absolutely can. So first thing is, let's talk about effects. I usually like to have on like this kind of a sound, like a changing tone or timbre with it. And I also then want to have some kind of like a gated effect, like a filter cutoff or, tremolo or something. I don't really care for the tremolo in the SP404 Mark II, the way it works. You can try it and mess around with it. You can get some cool sounds out of it, but I find that the super filter, the way that it syncs, is a little bit better. So to be able to do this, hold Shift, pad 16. You're going to want to make sure you're in type A, where bus 1 is going into bus 2. If you happen to have bus 1 and bus 2 side by side like this, you're in parallel mode, and you can get one effect, but not both. So just push Enter, go to type A. Now you're in serial. You go bus 1 to bus 2. With that, next up, I want to create a pattern so I can do a little bit of motion recording, but still also play live for the sound. So I'm going to go hit pattern select. I'm going to go bank J. You want to just see like nothing's here. Hit record, hit pad 1. And I know that this bass sample is 84 BPM. That's what it says on the pad there. So I've already set this to 84. I'm going to switch to TR rec mode by hitting remain, and then I can just put the one sample down. I'm going to set this to 4 bars, not 5, not 8, 4. And I'm just going to hit record, hold subpad, go to bank A, pick the pad here. I'm going to tap remain, so we go to last, so it's going to play from start to the very end. And I'm just going to hit this so that it's going to play. This is a 4-bar loop. It will hold it through the 4 bars of our pattern. So from here, I can hit exit and get out of TRX mode. And to get back into record mode, I'm just going to tap record. It's going to take a second while it kind of goes through to actually enter record mode. And then I'll just immediately go rehearsal. I'm just doing this so I can make some changes and I can switch between rehearsal and record mode without a problem. So first effect I want to do on bus 1, and I can see bus effects. I'm on bus 1 because bus effects is a solid color. I'm going to tap filter and drive. I'm going to hold remain and tap filter and drive. I'm just going to talk through some of the settings here. So cutoff 490. If you just kind of come in, I just tuned this to roughly where I felt like it was just barely starting to affect the sound and tonal quality of the sample. And I can use resonance. I go pretty high. You probably don't want that like wood block kind of hitting sound. So, it kind of feels like around 50 or lower is good. Maybe we start at 6. I'm going to go to drive. We can go really crazy. Get a lot of that overdrive tone. Probably don't want that though. So let's go set it kind of low. We want both of these to start kind of low, and we can evolve them over time. So I'm going to hit record. I'm going to switch back to record mode. I'm going to hit mark so that we're now in motion record. And anything that's on the first page, totally able to make changes to. So let's say I want to do some resonance change. So I just went for the full 4 bars, and now you can see it's replaying that automation. I want to do the same thing with the drive, and maybe have it just kind of build slowly. So just like a little bit of a growl at the end, just so we have something like a little bit different. Now, with this, let's go to the second page. A couple things you want to note is I've got LPF as the filter type, just so it's a low-pass filter. Then the next 2 settings don't really matter, because I've got the low gain set at 0, so it's not increasing or decreasing the low end. And I've set this as 261. Doesn't matter, but I'm just letting you know. A couple things you want to know about the second page. We can't automate any of these as far as I know. They haven't made any changes. So if I come in and while I've still got motion record on, I can make these changes and it won't play them back, which is kind of a bummer because we would love to have this automated for being able to do the filter sweeps, but you can see I make the change and it's just staying solid. So let's stop motion record because we're not going to use it for a second while we go over to the next effect. I'm going to also exit out. I'm just going to tap exit to get back to this view. Push bus effects, so we're now up into bus 2, and we can still hear that the first effect is running. So now I want to hold MFX, and I've got super filter here. This is what's going to give us that wub sound. As I said, you could go use tremolo or something else. Anything that's got kind of that gated effect might get you there. We're going to switch over, and I'm going to hold remain MFX just so you can kind of see. So we get cutoff 47. We can automate this, which is nice. We got resonance 0. We got filter type of low pass filter. Second page, the depth is the important one. We can actually change this to taste, and the 1/8 is what's giving us that 1/8 note kind of segment chunk. So we can play this. Unfortunately, we can't record that, which is the real shame. But as I said, we'll get into a couple of things you can do for options here in a second. Let's go back to the first page. So I probably want to automate this because this is adjusting the strength value of how much we're getting in here. So I maybe want to start with this open. So we will start it with it cutoff of 40. I'm going to hit mark so we get back into record mode. So now we've got this recorded. So it's kind of a lighter effect, and it comes in and it gets harder. So I'm going to hit mark to come out. So we're not in motion record now, and just show you. So like we can play this now. Unfortunately, as I said, if I come hit mark, it's not going to record these. You might be like, okay, why are you doing all this? I'll show you in a second. See, it's not moving. I hope that we get a firmware 6.0 that lets us do motion record on knobs 4 through 6. It's not there. So let's just, for the moment, assume this is where we want our settings. We'll exit out. We're going to exit out of record mode. In fact, we're going to exit all the way out so that this is not playing. Couple things that I would suggest doing if you want to record these kinds of performances. You can look at using like record resample things. It's okay. I personally like to make sure I am in skip back buffer mode and just record to that though, personally. So we can see we're flashing. It's got stuff in there. I'm going to enter just to get into the skip back, and immediately I'm going to exit. Just going to hit just hit exit. Sorry. I'm going to say, okay, we want to lose it. We just don't want anything in the buffer there. And if you happen to come in and you're like, I'm going into looper mode, just hold shift and push in the enter value. You can switch between skip back and looper. I'm going to happen to say cancel. We already want to be in this mode. But what this allows us to do is I can at least record the 40-ish seconds of a performance into the skip back buffer, and I can then export that as I would like to work with. So let's play. You're going to see all the effects are currently off. So we're going to go super filter, get that back. And we want our filter and drive. So I just tap bus effects to get back. So we're now playing, and now we can mess around with this. So if we get back to bus 2, hold remain, hit MFX, push in, we can now ride the knob and play it. Or if you get an external device, I mean, you can record to something externally. But this is kind of about as good as you're going to get, because we can't record these, do motion record on these. So anyway, with this, I can now hit mark, and I can go, well, I guess shopping or fishing or however you want to put it, to go look through the timeline here to get the sound. if I get something I like, and I could just export the whole thing, we can just go record, save to pad. Actually, we could go to bank J, cancel. We're going to bank J because it's empty. And we've just saved that performance out now. So I can go chop this up and do what I'd like to. Anyway, Daniel and everybody else out there, I hope this video helps you guys out. If you're looking for how to do some of this stuff, I know I covered a whole lot of topics, and this is probably much longer than 5-minute video at this point. But everybody, thanks for stopping by. Keep dropping questions and comments. Happy to do my best to try and answer you guys. Thanks. Have a great day, and peace.